Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Todd and Erin Daily Stream.
Would you like to be one of our guest celebrity reporters at FanX on the 19th and 20th at the Salt Palace?
Would you, huh? Would you?
Did you know this is the biggest fan convention in the entire nation per capita? Nice throwing of your phone on the floor.
That was my phone.
It was smooth. It was good. Anyway, so you would be with us the whole time. You would be with our brilliant camera guy, but you get a chance to video and film all of the celebrities, see all the cool stuff that's going on. And at the end, we would like you, of course, to do your own story. So if that sounds like it would be fun.
Pressure.
All you have to do is like and comment on the show today, and boom, you're entered. It's that simple.
All right. So speaking of that, last year, Mr. Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
I think I think he's that big. He what is he? 6'6"? 6'8"?
He's 6'5", I think. But yeah,
He's
we've interviewed him
huge.
before. But
how genteel, how wonderful. What a great human being, as a matter of fact. Here, from last year. Take a look.
Not true, not true. Andrew Goodwin. Andrew Goodwin, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Goodwin.
Well, what a week you have had. What a week you have
I had a big week. I haven't been home in a couple of weeks. I went to, I left Los Angeles, where I live, to Venice, Italy, where this movie that I did, you may see it around here, around these parts, it's called The Mountain. It's with me and Ty Sheridan from Ready Player One. And it was in competition, so-called, at the Venice Film Festival. And we were there hobnobbing with everybody else, you know. There were a lot of fancy people there. We showed the movie. People seemed to like the movie. And then I went to London, where I was doing publicity for this jazz album that is just coming out, because I play piano in a jazz group. Thank you. And we're releasing this record on November 9th. It's called Jeff Goldblum and the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra, the Capitol Sessions, the Capitol Studios Sessions. That's the name of it, but you can pre-order it now. Not that I'm selling you anything, but you know, if you want to look it up, you can pre-order it now. In fact, there are a couple of singles that have been released, so you can hear two of the singles, and then it comes out on November 9th. So, you know, if you feel like it. Anyway, I was in London doing publicity for that. I went to one of the subway stations and played unexpectedly for people and enjoyed that. And then what did I do? Then I was being honored, believe it or not, it's so sweet, by GQ, you know that magazine, Gentleman's Quarterly. They were doing their Men of the Year Party Award, and they gave me some icon award. They called me an icon, and I have it in my suitcase. Thank you very much. I got it in my suitcase, and we saw a lot of fancy people there. Prince Charles was there, my God in heaven, and you know, everybody else. Chris Hemsworth was there, and Chadwick Boseman, and Tom Hiddleston introduced me, gave me That's so funny. So there were a lot of great people, and then and then as soon as I finished, I came here so I could be with you. That's what I'm doing. Thank you.
This is a little different than your typical Q&A. We do it more of like a talk show style.
Okay.
Yes, we have a bit of fun. We do some surprises for Jeff that I think you guys will get a little bit of a kick out of.
Good, I like surprises.
You like surprises? Yeah.
We haven't talked about this at all. I have no idea what you're going to do.
No, we do something different every time. We try to change it up a little bit.
You have a question? He has a question? What's your question? I live in Jurassic World. Yes.
Oh yes, Jurassic World, yes. I know you briefly talked about it there, but I do want to talk a little more about the album, because it's a big deal, it really is.
Oh, it is for me, I'm excited.
And for those of you that want to see Jeff perform, he plays every Wednesday in Los Angeles, Los Feliz, at a club.
Yes, if you're there in Los Angeles, come to Google Rockwell, that's the name of the club, and they'll tell you if I'm playing on any given Wednesday, because I play every Wednesday that I'm there in town with my band, and if you're there, come and tap me on the shoulder, and I'll take a picture with you there, and you can hear this jazz music that we play. Yeah, so come on, Rockwell.
And you're going to be touring London and Paris.
We're going back, and our band is going to play Ronnie Scott's, this kind of well-known jazz club in London, and then we're playing a couple of shows at the London Jazz Festival, the London Jazz Festival, and then we go to Berlin, a very happening city, so-called, and then to Paris, a city you've heard of before maybe, or been to before, and we play jazz there. How did I get so lucky to have this life where I play music like this?
So the important question is, when do you get stateside with the tour?
Well, besides playing every night at Rockwell, we have a couple of dates coming up. As a matter of fact, John Mastro would know in like Napa Valley, there's a big festival that we're playing, and there's another festival we're playing. We're playing a bunch of festivals. So, and then we go around and about, and then we'll play more, I'll bet. Well, we'll see how well people like this album, you know. And, but we like to play.
And of course, as far as, sorry?
You have a question? Any questions?
Play here. Salt Lake, yeah.
I'd like to play here. Where could I play here? Do you know of a club here that's good?
No.
I bet there are great clubs here. Really? Because, you know, I've never been to this city before. I've never been to Salt Lake before, I don't believe. I was in Park City like a million years ago playing Ichabod Crane in that movie that they put on the TV. Thank you. But I've never been to Salt Lake City. Shame on me. I love it. I'm gonna move here.
I think they approve.
I'm coming. Let's be neighbors.
And what did we see you in this year? We saw I Love Dogs.
I Love Dogs. I Love Dogs. Yeah, Wes Anderson, genius director, with whom I'm always thrilled to work.
Hotel Artemis.
And Hotel Artemis, a little movie that I did with Jodie Foster, the great Jodie Foster.
Yeah. Thor came out on DVD, which of course the Grandmaster.
I am the Grandmaster, that's correct.
Which I will tell you that getting to know Jeff over the last year or so that we've been doing these, he is more like the Grandmaster than you realize. He really is. I said to him earlier, I said, you weren't acting, were you?
That's so funny. What do I say? I pardon you from life.
See?
Yeah, that's me. And what else did I do? Then I did the Jurassic World movie.
Yeah, how did we forget that? Dr. Ian Malcolm.
And those are the four we had, Dr. Ian Malcolm. And then there was that statue that they put up in London. If you saw a picture of it from the original Jurassic Park, because it was the 25th anniversary. So nobody told me. I just found out about when they put it up, and there was a great big statue of me with my shirt kind of around my navel, you know.
Huh. That was the one complaint from the new Jurassic World movie, Erin, that you had your shirt on through the entire movie. So maybe in the next one you can.
Yes. Well, I was sitting at that table the whole time. I had my pants off, but you never saw it. Yeah, they never revealed it, unfortunately. Sadly, very sad.
And the internet is burning up with you constantly. The latest thing that I read, and some of you may have read about this, there's a thrift store somewhere in the U.S. They sell these frames. And they had 50 or 60 frames, and they put your picture in every one of them to sell.
Every single one.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I think you had something to do with it.
Nothing, not a thing. Not a thing. I didn't, I swear. I didn't. But we're going to have pictures. I've taken pictures now today, and I'm going to take more pictures with And we're going to take more pictures with a bunch of people, I'll bet, right here. And then I'll see them maybe at the autograph table, because I'll see the pictures we've taken, I'll sign them, and then I go on my Instagram, #Jeff Goldblum, and I see sometimes when many of you have posted those pictures, and I look at them, and then I see I look at all your pictures that you've posted, so I find out a lot about you. I feel very close to you. And I feel we're getting very much closer, too.
Yeah.
The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by PC Laptops, with desktops and laptops starting as low as $7.99 with a lifetime parts and service warranty. They fix phones, too. Go to PCLaptops.com.
I think I'm fairly spontaneous No. I'm premeditated.
You hate surprises. Who are you kidding?
I do hate surprises.
Oh my gosh. I took him on a surprise trip to Portland once. I didn't think I could get him on the plane.
She got me on the plane, sat down, I was like, tell me! And then she goes, well, we're going to Portland and we're going to go.
We're going to fish and all the things that you love, honey.
Which is great, but don't surprise me. I hate it. So anyway, being spontaneous, you're at a party and someone all of a sudden brings out a bottle of champagne. You're going, what's this about? And they go, we have an announcement. Bob got a job and so. And we're going to be doing that. And we're moving, but only 4 miles away. And you go, oh. And I said, what kind of job is it? He says, supervising job. Too many details?
Yeah.
All right. So another one is the guy pulls up in your yard and your friend, and he's got a pickup truck and it's full of wood chips. And he says, I got these for you. You're spontaneous. It's just...
And it's beautiful because we really need wood chips just in case anyone wants to go through with that scenario.
Exactly.
We could use those.
Or I have a truck, I will pick them up. So blatantly.
That you have no shame. Oh, it's just here in Salt Lake City in this area, we had a lot of down tree branches. So just in case.
Right.
You
to the point. Back to it. Okay. So last night, I would say 9:30ish, someone decided to, and this has happened before, light off a couple fireworks. Now, this has happened up the hill behind us, and you think, oh my gosh, there's some kind of celebration. Maybe there's a baby reveal. Maybe someone got a car. I don't know. But they, pew, 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 and you're like...
No, that's nice. A couple, 3 or 4 go off, and you're like, that's lovely. Mm-hmm.
A display went off last night at 9:30 in the evening.
Got Zoe out of bed. She's like...
No, I went and got her because
really?
she was going to be awake because it was a...
Yeah,
it was close. And so this started, and after, about a minute, you're like, oh, okay, they're probably... No, it keeps going. And then I went and got Zoe.
And it's like the multiple boom, 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 not the ones where they start with like one...
A professional show.
It was a lot.
I went to get Zachy, and Zachy just waved me off. He goes, no, I'm going to sleep. So fine. So we're all standing in the front yard watching this display go off. Totally professional. Like
it was beautiful.
Like if you've ever been to a Bees game when they do the fireworks on which night, I forget which.
It was more than that. It was a lot.
It was twice that. It was huge.
It was like Disneyland level of crazy.
I did some math. Now each shell is about $250. I'm going to say there was 100 shells.
Wow.
So spontaneously, and for no apparent reason, because the AFF, which plays at Rice Eccles Stadiums...
You have to explain what the AFF is.
It's the Professional Football League.
Arena football, yeah. And they've been playing up at Rice Eccles.
No, not arena. I'm sorry. No. They play it in real football fields.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Doesn't matter. It's dead.
Sorry.
Do they have leftover fireworks?
They're not dead. How do you know they're dead?
Oh, come here.
No, it's the Stallions, right? We don't know.
Yeah, 3 days ago, hon.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
You didn't tell me that.
So my thought was,
that
next
was
to all the helmets and stuff, maybe there was $250,000 worth of fireworks.
Wouldn't that be $25,000 worth of fireworks?
They decided to set it off.
That would have been 1,000 shells.
You know, the Dyslexia League is going to come after you with a vengeance. Back to the point. For no apparent reason, this fireworks display went off, and we cannot find out why.
We tried. We called the U.
Did they win? Did they win a game? Perhaps, right? You're like, oh, they won a game.
Yeah, but they wouldn't light anything up at Rice Eccles Stadium. And besides, we're between... The only thing going on right now are the gymnastics championships.
Right.
And they're down at Maverick Center.
Right.
There's nothing else going on at the U.
And so they had this huge fireworks display for no apparent reason whatsoever.
We appreciated it. It was super.
A parade would have been nice, too. I mean, if we're going to get down to it.
Let's move on. Okay, now
right.
we've all heard excuses for not selling your Girl Scout cookies. Of course, in my case, I was a campfire girl, so for me it was candy. And those mint sticks especially, that was a curse. There was a couple of boxes.
Did you go door to door?
Oh, yeah.
How dangerous.
No, it's just when they were mean. I'm like, I'm 8 and you're being mean to me. But other than that, no.
Really? There's a guy in Oregon.
It was a gentler time.
There's a guy in Oregon. And by the way, the whole pressure about selling to your friends, and the wrapping paper during Christmas and.
You know, but who's going to say no to a Girl Scout cookie? Or
No,
back in
who's
the
going to
happy
say
days of Girl
coworker to a coworker, or worse, your boss? How many boxes can I put you down for? Or how many boxes can I put you down for? And you're like, 12? Is that enough? 13? So anyway, the guy in Oregon basically ended up calling the police.
What happened?
Well, evidently there was a forced entry into his home. We'll call it a home invasion.
Someone had a home invasion to get his daughter's Girl Scout cookies?
No. Her cash.
Someone stole the Girl Scout cookie money?
That's one of the things this year is a lot
That's
of people,
horrible.
they deal in cash with cookies, have always dealt with cash.
Well, usually you order them all online. Yeah, but no, you still pay with cash.
Now,
Yeah.
right? So if you're buying them locally and stuff, you're getting cash.
Yeah, cash and
Because they don't
checks.
really, a lot of them don't have the squares to
Yeah.
swipe. And so basically the home invaders came in and they stole the $700 and they made off
That
with
kid
it.
sold a lot of boxes. You
That's
go,
a
girl.
lot of
I am
cookies.
proud of
Yeah.
you, my friend.
So when
That's horse camp times 20.
What horse camp?
Horse camp is like the sacred top of the Girl Scout hierarchy. If you sell enough cookies to go to horse camp, that's like the coolest thing ever.
What's the worst?
I don't know.
A badge.
Participation ribbon. I don't know.
It was the dad.
He stole his daughter's Girl Scout cookie money and then called the police and pretended it was a home invasion for $700. What is it with all the weirdness around Girl Scout cookies this year?
I don't know. The Thin Mints are devilishly good, but...
And the Samoas.
Oh, don't even
That
start.
sucks. So how did they figure out it was him? He just... I guess he wasn't very bright. If you
No.
wrote that story initially,
Did
it's
you
not
do
like,
it? Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, they found the money. Yeah, and so... It's just the
He
saddest
still had
thing.
the money on him?
Well, it's not like he stole it directly from a Girl Scout. It
Well,
was
it's
in
his
his
daughter.
house.
Yeah, it was his daughter's
It
money.
was in his house,
Yeah.
so really it's not stealing, it's borrowing. But after he kicks in the door. So, just a thought.
Wow. Okay. Well, moving on. Explain this gas bill thing, because there's going to be a lot of people who are freaking out this
Yeah,
month.
check your gas
There
bill.
might be a few that are like, hey, that's kind of cool.
Check your gas bill.
See, this is the thing that's always pissed me off, and I've actually fought with two of the utility companies over this, because I'm like, we did not have a $300 water bill last year. And they're
Right.
like, yeah, you did. Last month, and I'll be, no. And they're like, yeah, you did. And then I'll find
Tell
out.
them what August
and then I'll
was.
find out they guesstimated it. $700 in August. We had a battle. And then I found out that they don't even actually read your meter a lot of the times. They just guess it based on what it might have been in the past.
And last year, right.
And-
I gotta tell you, so I would smell a lot better if I'd used 700 gallons of water, $700 worth of water. I would smell a lot better.
Well, explain what's going on with the gas part.
So the transponders, this is actually a great invention. So as opposed to going into your backyard and your dog attacking the person, him or her, who is trying to read the darn meter.
Never a fun job.
Yeah. And a lot of times the water meter is in the front yard, but the gas meter is in the back or the side behind fences. So they actually have to go through and they have to do it and they have to write down the thing they used to. And now there are transponders where you can drive by.
Ooh, that's cool.
Information data loads, you're fine, just keep going, and then you're done. You
A lot
bring
less
it
dog
back.
bites.
You go home, you go to work, you download the whole thing, and it's all good. Except for they're outdated and they're not working correctly.
Oh no.
So you're really not most likely being charged the correct amount. So you might want to go do some follow-up with them. And I'm sure there's a process where you basically have to write down the correct number and then kind of check it with them online or check it with them on the phone, which is always so convenient.
So this is Dominion, right?
Yeah.
Dominion Energy. So just good to know, because nobody likes to have one of those bills. And a lot of people will auto pay, and then all of a sudden you find out there's $900 missing from your account. You're like, that can't be correct.
No.
We just wanted to warn you in case you have a cardiac issue.
Who uses $700 worth of water?
It didn't happen.
In a month.
It did not happen. All right, good news now. I want to do good news because there's a lot of it. Number one, the SafeUtah app. Now, we've talked about this before. As a matter of fact, one of my dear friends who I love dearly, her daughter who has some special needs, was being bullied and harassed at school, and she actually reported it through the SafeUtah app, and it was huge because it's a big deal.
It is.
It's a huge deal. And for a lot of these kids who may not be getting support from their initial administration, or they don't know who to talk to, what this app does is you can report, like, I'm really worried about my friend. I think they're thinking about suicide. I'm scared to death for them. This is what they've said.
So this goes to higher up as opposed to the people in your school.
And it's trained mental health professionals. They go through a series of questions and try to get some understanding of what might be happening.
Makes
you can
sense.
also report things like, I think my friend has a gun and he's talked about bringing it to school.
Holy
or different weapons, or my friend is bragged that he and his buddies are going to beat the crap out of this other kid. So this is incredible. They said they never expected this. Representative Steve Eliason from Sandy was the one who worked on the legislation for this initially.
Okay.
From 2017, July 2017 to October 2018, the SafeUtah app had 1,500 tips about people considering taking their own lives. It had hundreds of tips about students considering using violence around their schoolmates or their friends. And from January 2018 to January of 2019, the app received 534 potential school threat tips. Now, this was guns, planned school attacks, weapons, knives, explosives. Barry Rose is one of the crisis services managers who works with this, and he said, we've actually stopped kids at the door of the school who had guns in their backpacks.
We've never heard of this.
They received this. The thing about this is a lot about the Homeland Security, and after 9/11, and we don't hear about things like genuine terrifying threats that could have happened, but they stopped in time. You never hear about it till later. They went to one kid's school, they went to one kid's home, and he had bomb-making materials in his room.
He was working on it.
And so what they were saying is that they felt really strongly that sometimes they feel like they might have stopped some attacks. School attacks that were similar to the terrible things that we've seen around the nation.
And if people want to use this, where do they go?
It's pretty incredible. All you have to do is you can download it free off any of the app stores. It's SafeUtah. You can use it for Android or iOS. It's
and this is not just for school, I would imagine. This is for people at work?
It's primarily for school. It's primarily directed towards those children.
My goodness.
But the fact that you think of those many kids who might have gotten mental health assistance based on these reports, because we've heard so many times about parents not knowing, and we have a terrifyingly high precedence of suicide with teens here. And the fact that this many things have been averted because of this app, that's incredible to me.
That is incredible.
All right, another great one. Are you ready for another cool one?
Please.
Brad Paisley. Now, he's country music. He's the one who's all like young and still looks adorable, and he married Kimberly Williams Paisley. She was the one who was in Father of the Bride that you love so much with Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah.
The girl with the really beautiful eyes and that pretty smile.
She's adorable. Yeah.
Well, they just opened a brand new nonprofit store on Wednesday in Nashville. Now it's going to be called The Store, and it's located just off the campus of Paisley's alma mater, Belmont University. And he said, this is a place that's really important right now. He says it's undergoing gentrification, which means a lot of the people who live here are getting squeezed out because they can't afford it. He said, this is also a great place where you have students who don't have a lot of money. He said, students can volunteer here at the store and they can take groceries home.
Oh,
and he said,
I'd live there.
But he said one of the most important things about this store is he says you can read a lot in books about what's happening with hunger and what's happening across the nation. He says, but for these students to work here and to see what's happening with these families and these people who work 3 or 4 jobs and they can't afford to live, he said, this is going to be really exciting. He said, this is really cool to me. This guy's a country music superstar. His wife is a relatively famous actress. They take their boys out and they volunteer places all the time because they live down in LA most of the time.
Good for them.
And he took the idea from the Unity Shop, which is down in Santa Barbara, because he wanted to teach them about serving and giving back to people in need. And he said, what we learned that we thought was most important is people don't really want a handout. He said they are desperate to take care of themselves and to provide for their own kids. And he said, so it's so important that when you come into a store like this, they're there for you and they get that it's not a shaming experience, that they know what you want to, and they want to be there to support you. So essentially over the time, they plan to develop additional services. They're going to do job training. They're going to teach cooking and nutrition services.
Oh, cool.
And this is important because when I volunteered at the homeless shelter for a while, that was one of the things that I noticed, that a lot of these kids had never learned simple things like cooking. There's no issues about nutrition because basically you're getting what is cheapest.
Right.
And fresh
what's
food
ready to eat
and
because you don't have access
may not
to
have
a kitchen.
Stove, yeah.
Right.
So these things are stuff that they don't learn the way you might if you grew up in a household that had enough money to care for you.
Right.
So I just think this is such a cool thing, and I'm so proud of them.
It's a great program.
All right, one last thing. There's a film coming out that I think is pretty amazing.
What's it called?
It's called The Public, and it's from Emilio Estevez, who we love. Now, Emilio Estevez, Martin Sheen's son, Charlie Sheen's brother.
Kind of the normal one.
Yeah, he's the one who bailed his brother out of jail a lot.
Right.
You know, he was a huge teen heartthrob, but now he's been creating his own movies. And this showed up at Sundance, and it got quite a buzz. But Emilio got this idea from the Salt Lake City Library. He had read an article from one of the retiring librarians, Chip Ward, who I know who he is. He's an awesome guy.
Right.
And he talked about a day in the life of a library and how the homeless, and if you've been down to the main library downtown in Salt Lake City, it is a homeless enclave. It's,
oh my gosh, I've heard such negative posts
and I hate that because
this.
and the librarians will be often the first to defend them, where they say, like, this is their safe place.
This is where they have an internet to get a job.
Yeah.
Contact their family. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe, and she said, and everyone always assumes they're in here doing something. She says they're reading, and a lot of them are trying to learn or to better themselves or to do more. But in any case,
and it's safe.
It interested him enough that he came up and he actually spent some time at the library in Salt Lake, going through and taking notes and kind of watching people. And he wrote a script about a freezing cold night and he said it in Ohio. I think he should have said it here, where it was like deadly cold temperatures, 20 below zero, and the homeless simply staged a revolt and refused to leave the library. They said, the shelters are full. We have nowhere to go. We're not leaving the library. And it goes through this thing with the police and goes how the media handle it and how the public responds to it. But it was such a fascinating story. And Shay Smith is a hip hop artist. He's from Chicago, Grammy winning.
Okay.
And he stars in the movie. And he talked about the fact that the first time he met his father, who was homeless, he was 15 years old at the time. The first time he met his dad was at a library in Chicago. He said, this was my father's place of pride, where I wasn't meeting him in a homeless shelter where it showed how far he had fallen or on the street. I found him, I met him in a place where he felt like he had dignity.
Interesting.
And I just thought it was so fascinating. So he said, and it was a place where we could meet and I would be safe and he was safe and we could talk and spend time together.
And what's it called?
It's called The Public.
Interesting.
And it's going to be available on Netflix and Amazon Prime and a couple of other streaming services this month.
All right,
I just love the idea of that. I thought that was really creative.
Well, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow. No,
Monday.
we won't.
You get 2 whole days off from us. But if you want to, we do have a bunch of Easter cooking ideas and some different things, everything from cookies to roast leg of lamb. If you want to go to the Todd and Erin dailystream.com, all kinds of different ideas to get you started for maybe Easter dinner.
And tomorrow and Monday, we're going to tell you about a new secret we have. There's 3 of them. They're behind the camera. You can't see them, and they're making noise. They're critters. And they were sprung on me. Like a bad joke.
You're never going to forgive me, are you? But our daughter is so happy.
We'll find out what they are coming up.
A good father would be happy that his daughter was happy.
Yeah, a good father would. We'll see you Monday.